Right, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel in this week's video. Today I'm going to be taking you through my leg workout, my quad workout, but more importantly I'm going to be showing you how resetting certain movements will help you to progress past barriers and break any potential plateaus that you may come across on your training journey. This has become ever more important for me personally, as I am currently in a maintenance phase, so everything is low. Food is starting to come down, and inevitably this means that I may not be as strong and I may not have as much power as I did when I was in my peak off season, eating my highest amount of food and being at my all-time heaviest weight. So what do we mean by resetting the movement? I'm gonna quickly go through this with you before we start the video. So it's taking down the weight to a more manageable weight, resetting your form and execution, making sure everything is picture perfect in a way, your tempo's good, you have some slight pauses maybe, you're not rushing through reps, rushing through sets, and obviously in the process of getting stronger and aiming to progress lifts, form may break down a little bit. It doesn't mean you're lifting with bad form, doesn't mean your reps and your sets are sloppy, it just means the textbook 3-1-1-0 or the 4-0-1-0, those higher tempos may not be abided by. You may go down to a 2-0-1-0, so there's 1-2 up. Whereas this is not a bad thing. By stripping down the weight a little bit and starting from a base point, you'll be able to progress back up to that weight again, but by using the stricter tempo and starting again from fresh, you will be able to build more muscle so that when you get up to your previous plateau, you will be more comfortable under that weight and more likely to push past the previous barrier that was stopping you from progressing beforehand. So right, we're gonna get into the video and I'll talk to you more about this when we get onto my hack squat, because this is where I'm gonna emphasize this resetting of lifts. So let's crack on. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm showing you all of my top sets, apart from the hack squat where I'll take you through all my sets to show you the resetting. So we've got leg extension here. I did 4x20. This is my top set. It was absolutely aggro to get into this machine, as the depth lever where you can just move it forward to get in the machine and put it back afterwards, it was stiff, so I just had to leave it as it was and kind of maneuver in, and as you'll see when we finish, it's a struggle to get out again. As you can see, I've got the majority of the weight loaded on the middle peg, so to keep a constant distribution of weight throughout the entirety of the movement, so the mid-range, and then a little bit on the bottom just to get a bit of load in the fully shortened range, just because first exercise and the best opportunity to get that quad nice and short and fully flexed. Then we moved on to barbell squats, 5x10 here. I went 60, 100, 130, 150 and my top set. And this is an all-time PR for me. You'll see when we get to the final rep, it was a little bit of a grinder. The first 4 reps were bang on, continuous reps, not taking too long at the top. And then you can see on the 4th rep, I got sent forward a little bit. So I took a second, breath, brace and go. That's what I go by. Take a breath, brace and go. Not too long, but enough to remain stable and to promote safety in your lifts. 5th rep was perfect again. 6th rep sent me forward, everyone came to help me, so thank you to the emergency spotters. And then I got the 1 call, so I went for that all time. I was not letting that all-time PR escape from me. Not the best rep, not too bad either, and we definitely take those. On to hack squats. I'm gonna show you 5 reps of each of my sets. So you can see I'm still going constant tension. I'm not going ridiculously slow on the way down, but like a 3 count, so like a 2.5 second eccentric. You'll see that no matter what weight is on, they're all carrying the same tempo. Everything's being re-standardized. I'm making a new baseline. So these are numbers that I'm looking to progress as the weeks go on. More so, you'll see when we get to 5 plates, these are the last couple reps. I'm making sure not to rush through these. Whereas in the previous couple of weeks, I was rushing through the set of 5 because this is when it starts to get heavy, and I wanted to make them feel as light as possible so that I can reach all-time strength feats. Whereas it was working before, it stopped working now. I wasn't able to get past 7 plates and a 5. I hit 4 with a assisted rep. My plan is 5 by 10, so 4 and assisted rep isn't exactly on plan. So instead of just dropping down to 7 plates, trying to get back to it, what I've decided to do is go strip to 6 plates, put a 3-second negative back in, whereas I was just doing a 2-second beforehand, and build upon this foundation. What you do need to bear in mind when resetting an exercise is your breathing technique. This is what ultimately stopped this set a bit prematurely, but you can see full control, nice and slow on the way down, not rushing through, not trying to beat any number, not trying to be better than last week, setting us a baseline, every rep standardized, every rep bang on, 3 seconds down, all the way down. Depth is never a problem for me. That's just something to bear in mind if you are someone who likes to cheat a little bit of depth to progress the logbook. When you're resetting, make sure to nip that in the bud. We all like to lift heavy, but if you want this reset to benefit your progress in the long run, taking a few reps off with a lighter weight and making sure your foundation is solid, then building upon that using the same technique, the same form, same cues, the same tempo as you built upon on your baseline, this is how you're going to, in the long term, break past your all-time plateaus. I brushed past the breathing. What I mean by this is, if you're using a 2-second tempo, you can take your breath as you come down, 1, 2, and then breathe out through the rep. However, if you try to do that on a 3-second tempo, you go, and then you got an extra second before you go, you can quite quickly run out of breath and miss brace, become less tight in that change of direction, which will ultimately lead your body to not produce as much force and lead you to flop out of a rep like I did in that 6th rep. It was moving, but my body just went blank because my breathing was off and it made me go a little bit dizzy. I lost my brace, my legs went a bit jelly, and I just crashed out. So just bear that in mind for a safety aspect. Obviously with a 3-second technique, you can take a little breath at the top, breathe out as you come down, and take your next breath as you get into your length and range. So it's like, I'm at the top, little breath, and then breathe out. And before I get to, when I hit that around the 90 degree, let's just use the hack squat for example, when I hit the 90 degree knee bend, take my breath, brace into my core, and then use that last half second to push out and get the rep. I hope you get what I mean by this. Is obviously, it's hard to explain without practically showing you. To put it simply, you have to match your breathing to the tempo that you're lifting at to get the most out of your training. Okay, so now we move on to the leg press. I've got 2 sets here, so I do a few feeders, few warm-ups, just to get myself accustomed to the weight. Obviously, I don't need to really warm up my quads because I've done 3 very high volume demanding exercises beforehand, so my quads are warm. It's just acclimating to the new movement pathway, to the amount of weight that's on, because obviously a leg press, you're going to put considerably higher amount of weight on that compared to your squats, for example. And although knee bending is occurring in all 3 of the previous exercises, your knee bend in a leg extension coming backwards and outwards is going to be different to in a seated position coming down and pressing out in a leg press. And even though you're doing something more similar in a squat or the hack squat, the angle that you're doing it from is different, so you will need to mentally lock yourself into that movement pathway for a safer and more effective output in your sets. So first set is a 10 to 15. I stalled on this. Last week I got 12 and an assist. This week I got 11 and assist, but due to taking that reset in the previous exercise, it just accumulated a bit more fatigue and offset this by a rep. A rep isn't going to kill you, but it will be rectified next week when my body is more acclimated to the reset, and then straight into this leg press as well. So that being said, I'm very happy with this set. I've got the block underneath. What this mainly does, it provides a bit more distance between myself and the handle. What I have found anecdotally is when you brace into a leg press with your arm bent, you're putting a lot of tension on your arm. I've had a few bicep aggravations, niggles because of this, from having that elbow flex and the bicep compromised by putting myself into the leg press. It encourages a straighter arm, which is a lot healthier for the bicep tendons, and also it allows for a more comfortable range of motion as you come down. What you will find in certain instances on certain machines, your body may not biomechanically or anatomically fit how the machine is made. So when I come down on my leg press, my hip starts to flex and my bum starts to elevate. Obviously this is shifting tension off of my quad and onto my lower back, my rectors, and my glutes, which is not what we're trying to do here. What this pad allows me to do, even when this elevation is slightly encouraged, it allows for the bum to stay pressed against something obviously you're putting yourself into the machine. I'll just whack my elbow on the fridge, and it allows for a more comfortable range of motion and allows me to keep better tension on the intended muscle on the quads. This doesn't mean that everybody needs this. It works for me, and it works for a lot of people that I've let use mine, and I've used other people's in the past, the reason I bought one. And then we've got set 2. I'm not gonna take you through the whole set because you've seen it plenty of times on this channel before, but it's a 30 rep rest pause where I have a goal of 30 reps and I have to hit that. Doesn't matter how many stages of the rest pause it takes me. It could be 2, it could be 8. If it's 2, you need to go heavier. If it's over 8, you probably should go lighter. I dropped from 9 plates to 8 plates here. As you can see, I got 11 on my first stage, which left 19 in the tank, which I accrued through another 4 or 5 stages. General rule of thumb, if you want to adopt this, what I do is when I break past 15 reps on stage 1, I add some more weight on. That's how I take my low progressions on this rest pause. What I previously have done after this is after hitting the 30 reps, I strip off into a triple drop set. So I go from 8 plates to 5 plates to 4 plates and maybe even 3 plates. But as we're in a maintenance phase and I am trying to freshen up for the beginning of prep and not digging myself into a hole that I'll be digging into as we get through prep, I want to start afresh, and I'm already training in a high volume manner, high volume style of training. I just took out that extra bit of volume just to help freshen up for the start of the prep. And then lastly, we've got adductors. Do not miss your adductors. Do not neglect your adductors. Do not skip this movement. Fake social media people will tell you that this is a sus machine. The only thing sus to me is not having good legs, and doing your adductors will get you good legs. So what we do here is a 4x20 pyramid style, no different to any other of the exercises that we do on this program. And then my top set here, as you can see, I'm leant back, allowing for my hips to open up more comfortably to allow for a greater range of motion. And then I'm thinking about driving through my knees, pretending that I can't drive with my ankles. What you'll find is if you push through your feet and your ankles, you'll feel it a lot more in your calf and your shins, which is obviously not ideal for growing your adductors, but not ideal for your general bone and muscle health. But pushing through my knees, really thinking about engaging the adductors. What I like to do is turn my legs out a little bit as well, just to flex my adductors before I even perform a rep, so they're readily engaged, like you do on a chest press, by puffing up out your chest to get them past your shoulders and allow for a greater active range of motion. Turning out your legs and flexing your adductors before performing adductions carries a very similar principle, and I have found it has helped my adductors a lot. Finishing off with a little quad flex to show you my current condition. I'm sitting at 101 kilos, down 1.5 kilos, so just over 3 pounds from my heaviest weight. So just dropping off some water weight, dropping off some inflammation, getting comfortable at my body weight before we start prep, owning the weight as the bro science would say. But yeah, that is everything, and this will end the video for this week. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. The prep series is right upon us. It's nearly ready, just freshened up, ready to go. I'm currently working on talking a little off-season review where I take all my photos, my check-in photos from week 1 of the off-season to my final week of the off-season, and showing you how the body changes and what things you need to worry about, what things you need to look out for, certain mental challenges that you will face on your off season, losing your lines and your definition in the pursuit of gaining muscle tissue. As when you're not huge, to get to being huge, you kind of have to lose your definition a little bit. Not get fat, not push it too far, which will also cover, get a little bit uncomfortable with the goal of getting better, improving, getting bigger, gaining muscle. So that's all to come. Leave a comment down below if you have any other suggestions for me to do, and if you've tried this method of breaking past your plateau, if it's helped you. Any other things that you'd like me to cover, leave that all in the comment section down below. Share this to a friend that is struggling to beat their PRs. Hopefully this will help them to break past them and become their all-time best. But that's enough rambling. I'm done for this week, and I will catch you all next week. I'm out.